Hello, hello, and welcome. My Leo Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, welcome to your Truth About Your Twin Flame reading for June 2020, or Timeless. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mel for short, professional witch, professional intuitive. Very, very happy to be helping because I am also Leo Rising. Yikes. So if you're new to my channel, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you. That light was blinding me. Liking the video, should you like it, right? It wouldn't ask you to do something you didn't want to do. It didn't feel right to you. Hit the notification bell, though, because I am trying to put out content every day, unless I burn out, which does happen once a month or so. Cool. Feel free to comment, and let's get down to business. This reading is a little bit different than the twin flame reads that I have done before. I've been doing one a month for almost about a year or so. These are different in terms of even the name of it is called The Truth About the Twin Flame for the particular Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs of the 12 signs of the zodiac. What we're looking at here is, though a general read, please take what resonates, leave what does not. It's a contract read looking at what you, as a zodiacal sign, can learn from, what you are learning from a particular type of soul contract called a twin flame versus a soulmate contract. They're not the same thing. There are a bunch of links in the description box below explaining the difference between the two. A bunch of them are mine, live chats that I've done here on YouTube, but all from the one by Matt Kahn, Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. Really, really good video. I think you will find that very, very helpful in understanding these readings, and these readings very helpful in understanding your twin flame contract, so complementary in that way. The bottom line of a twin flame contract is thus. You're teaching each other how to love yourselves. You're teaching each other how to heal yourselves, meaning that they can't really give you the love that you want them to give you. Only you can give you that in those cases. Whereas a soulmate, you help each other heal. It's just a different thing altogether, and that's why I also do the soulmate reads. Not all of your twin flames and soulmates are romantic sexual. In fact, my mother was a soulmate contract we have. My father was a twin flame contract, God rest his soul. So it can play out literally on all of those different levels. So these readings in particular, the reason why even the name of it has changed is to get the truth about three different things. One, how is this twin flame contract transforming me? Like, how does it? How is it? Right? Like, that's really important to answer that. Second, how can I work with it? Because sometimes in twin flame contracts, they're your parent, or you're already married to them, or they're your child, or your boss, or whatever. So how can I work with this? How can I make this work? And three, how is this twin flame contract helping me become the mate of my own soul, therefore a better soulmate, which to me is the point of a twin flame. If twin flames have any point whatsoever, it's that we become better soulmates. And I'm down for that, because then it kind of blesses all of it. It's just like, woo, because I got a history. Woo, just like bless that. Woo, bless you all. Thank you, boys, right? And, you know, all the other relationships, not just the romantic sexual one. You get it? So that's what we're doing. We're not doing divine feminine, divine masculine this time around. You're going to be on this side of the table as part of the contract. The twin will be on this side, so that takes that part out of it, at least this time around. I think you'll dig what we're doing. 13 card spread. Let's have a look-see-dooksy. Focus on your breath. You're going to really be able to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. The more, and watch me, because I breathe all the way through this thing. I have to stay in the present moment to get you the guidance and the grace that back up the cards, you know. Let's do this. Take a nice deep breath. All of that prologue. Here's the entree. I just mixed a metaphor. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, one card in clarity for this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. In this twin flame contract, what is the dominant soul power archetype from the Caroline Myss archetype deck? All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box. That they will be alchemizing, are alchemizing in this twin flame contract, but particularly June 2020. I love this deck so much. Please keep in mind, archetypes are neutral, having both shadow and light attributes. And I'm a Leo rising. The Don Juan. Been there, done that. Did the tequila shots. Don Juan, the shadow attribute, using the power of romantic attraction for private agenda. Gee, what could that private agenda be? Fifth house oriented Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. The power of seduction of the Don Juan archetype is literally legendary. But we don't think very much about the light side of it, right? The shadow power of it we get. And all has to do with sex and romance. I'm going to say, unless this really isn't, this is probably about sex and romance. Thanks for the clarity, Mark. Light attributes spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. What are your positive, seductive qualities? Now, look, I can be as seductive, but I try not to use my powers for evil anymore. I mean, I know my nickname is Mal. It means bad. It means evil. And I was, honey, it was a teen in the 80s and then... That's how I know what my boundaries are, and that's how I know what my ethics are. Been there, done that. Have the RIP t-shirt, right? It was the 80s. So that thing of the Don Juan, what is the alchemy there available for you in this twin flame thing about your own power of seduction, the positive qualities of it? There's a whole journey there. Now, we're not going to immediately pick one for the twin. I want to get you, and this is the guidance that came, to get you three three tarot cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, simple timeline, past, present, future, right? Just to see where you are in this contract before we even bring the twin in. Breathe. Yeah, okay, I can relate to the Don Juan archetype, so what? I love my spirit guides. We just crack each other up. Please, my goddesses, 3 cards, simple timeline for the Leo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this twin flame contract for June 2020 or timeless. We've got the Don Juan here, which regardless of gender is a very, very potent wild card archetype, though one would certainly associate it with the masculine family of archetypes. I can feel that there is something very wild card here. That seduction need not always be so yang, right? It can be very magnetic and draw you in. So please, with this Leo archetype, this Leo Don Juan archetype, I'm feeling it. Where have they been in this twin flame contract? Where are they now in this twin flame contract? Where are they headed in this twin flame contract? That like shot out of my hand. Well, let go and let God. Reversal. A sacrifice was made. Something had to be let go of. Something had to be surrendered and released, looked at differently. At least one of the hardest things, I think, for people to sacrifice is their point of view on something. But if you get that, it really means to make sacred, not to become your sacred cow or whatever that is, there's so many different ways of saying that, so many different cultures, but to really be willing to see things differently, to let go. And that's what I love in this card, although it's the Hanged Man in this deck called Reversal. The woman voluntarily hanging from a branch, but the face that's reflected in the water is eyes are open and more relaxed, where not so much on the one above the water. So there's definitely a letting go, a letting God, of going with the flow, that kind of deal, but also in suspension. So for a Don Juan archetype to just do that, it's where you're coming from. Where are you now? Second major arcana card in a row, and we got the High Priestess. I'm so sorry. There's no information for you right now. It's the High Priestess. You're being used for a higher purpose. Define plans and play you're not supposed to know. I mean, unless, look, I was a High Priest. I was a High Priest for decades. Never again the Coven times. No offense to Covens in general, but it's not my thing. I'm not a political player that way. I'm just not. But what I loved about it was the direct connection to the deity, to the gods, to source, which I still got. And that's the thing. The training was worth it. What I got out of it was worth it in terms of my closeness and mysticism and all that jazz in a way to serve other people. But 90% of it, if that, is a complete uncertainty and mystery, right? It's giving your life to the gods. Being a high priest or a high priestess, you are a vehicle and vessel through which they work. Now, everybody has that connection through what? Their intuition, which is the other part of this card, the hidden secrets, the hidden wisdom, the hidden knowledge. So, for a Leo, you being a little, I'm not going to say passive versus active, but I will say more yin here, more divine fire Leo female energy, which I kind of am really digging here in terms of the, okay, I let this go, I'm going to see this differently, because there is something so seductive, and when people don't understand about the High Priestess, she's the most beautiful woman on earth that no man can have, hence the maiden, the virgin of Maiden Mother, Crone in the Tarot, but also because she belonged to the gods, only the gods can have her. Nice work if you can get it, but lonely. Oh, where are you headed? Success, Six of Pentacles. Love this card. Rolling, well, not down the river. That's element of water. This is element of earth. And an under handicap, right? Usually, this is a Special Olympics oriented race here. So, that we're all doing the best that we can. It's a 6. We're all carrying the psychic baggage, the lessons, the wounds, right? Our stuff, but still there's a breakthrough here, that there's a forward momentum. So moving forward in spite of, one would say, the unknowing, moving forward on to maybe bigger and better. Maybe this contract continues, maybe it doesn't. I've noticed a string of them in this series so far, looking like they're really ready to go their separate ways. But with that Don Juan there and that breakthrough and success, I really like that, even though you may not know what's going on. Come here, baby. Do you want to come sit with Mama? Come sit with Mama. Up here. Just don't head bonk me. No, he wants to sniff the wires. Okay, kitty cats. Shall we? That's you. Let's look. Come on, booger. There he goes. This is my Melchior, my youngest. Chill out, lay down, Mama's working. Leo. Why he does that? He comes up for the Leo readings, I noticed. Breathe. Let's look at your twin, shall we? My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. One card to represent the twin flame in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for June 2020, or timeless, please. We've got the Don Juan as one of the twins. Please give us the dominant archetype for the twin for June 2020, or timeless, for this contract. Ooh, the Trickster. Oh no. Oh no. The Don Juan and the Trickster. Oh no. The shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. Liar, pants on fire. The light attribute, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Transcending predictable behavior by being honest, by being honorable, by being upfront about stuff. Oh my God. Well, and let's be clear, the Don Juan, if it has that private, using the romantic agenda, the romance, power of romance and seduction for a private agenda, that's just as toxic. The shadow always is archetypally. But these two together, oh honey, this is a twin flame. This is a weekend in Vegas, is what this is. This could be a lot of fun, very, very hot, but too hot not to cool down. And that's the thing with this High Priestess. Be very, very careful, my Leos, that you really know that you do not know, and that you're asking for your guidance and grace, because there's success here for you. But let's get 3 Mythic Tarot, shall we? Timeline, past, present, future. You in? I'm in. I'm Leo Rising. Of course I'm in. Breathe. My gods, Apollo in particular. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Please, 3-card timeline, basic timeline for this Trickster archetype in this Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract with this Don Juan archetype, please. Where are they in this twin flame contract timeline? Please. Where has this Trickster been in this contract? Where is this Trickster now in this contract? Where is this Trickster headed in this contract? Oh, good. 9 of Swords. I think I know who this is. So sleepless nights, right? Nine of Swords. Like the nines are so close to being completion, but they're not because the tens are completion. So this can often be like the worry and the insanity before something actually resolves itself, right? And a lot of times it's just stinking thinking, right? It's what the mind does when it doesn't know, but it's so close it can taste it, right? By ignoring the intuition, doubting the intuition, we often pop up into our heads, and the mind just mechanically what if scenarios the whole thing, right? So, facing the Furies, right? What are you going to do when you're facing the Furies? You're going to go through it. So there's a lot of overthinking here, a lot of stress going on in this relationship. And let's call it, all right, there's the empathic part. Let's call it what it is. I won't go so far as to say mental illness. I won't go so far as to say direct manifestation of personality disorder, but I will say extreme mental pain having to do with things other than in this relationship that this relationship triggers. Where's the drag fan when I need it across the other room? Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Where is he? Where are they now? This trickster. Seven of Wands. Going through the motions to get stuff done, though. There are challenges. There are hurdles. Maybe the main challenge has been won, but there's still not just the day-to-day, but other things that they're going through right now that they are still being challenged. So even though they're coming from this Nine of Swords, probably what they're dealing with right now in terms of this contract is more of the not moment by moment, but the procedural challenges, obstacles that have to be overcome to get all the way home, right? But that the main part of it's a seven. It's later on in the suit of Wands. So where are they headed? Back to the Eight of Swords, rock and a hard place. It does not look good for this trickster. Caught between the Furies and Apollo on that one. That doesn't look like fun, right? To be bound, to be, blindfolded and bound. There's a lot of mental pain going on with this trickster, to the point where, across a quantum field of this nature, a zodiacal field, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign of any zodiacal signs, of course, you're going to have your variations, in terms of mental health alone, let alone emotional capacity and physical well-being and all that stuff. As a spiritual reader, though, the sole opportunity here, these two cannot heal each other right now. And that's the nature of a twin flame contract. You teach each other how to heal. But I have to say, my Leo, you're doing good. Just know that everything is a mystery right now, that you are being used for a higher purpose, that you will be given the breadcrumbs of the day in terms of guidance and grace, because you've already sort of surrendered it, you let this thing go. But for this trickster archetype, very much very much an attachment of the mind. And yes, the Seven of Wands shows progress, shows that movement through of okay, I got to do this, and then it can very much be prioritizing a journey of some kind, if not a literal, then a soul journey, a metaphoric one. But with the Eight of Swords, I think really coming up against what are the belief systems, what are the attack patterns, what I mean, like in terms of the wounds that have been placed. I don't want to belittle anybody's story by saying that's just your story. I don't mean that, but that's part of it too, the narrative that's going on with this, and really trapped, whoever this is. Well, guess what? We've got enough info here now to really go in with these last 4 cards. What we're going to do is we're going to look at, with the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, half of the deck, the problem, and the other half of the deck, the suit of luck, the suit of healing, and the suit of grace, the remedy. Let's have a look. This is for the overall contract, so this isn't just, I'm going to put one card on one side and one on the other, but it affects obviously both of them. Sort of the problem and if there is a remedy, something to be gleaned from, right? Because you're learning how to be better soulmates. So what you might walk away from with this, breathe. sure I have the right one. All right, my Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity from the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, particularly the Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contracts. What's the problem here, right? In every drama, right, there's a protagonist and antagonist, right? Like, what is the plot point here that is the problem, the drama of it all? For this Leo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame Contract, June 2020, please, my Ascended Masters. What's the real problem here? What's going on here? A mistake. A mistake. Now, I see that, right? It's caught between a rock and a hard place, that there is something that was accepted as real or true that is not, or vice versa. Something that was accepted as unimportant and turns out to be important. So many different ways that can play itself out. Let's have a look with, again, the luck, the healing, and the grace suit. My Ascended Masters, what is the remedy for this? What is the clarity? What is the healing point? The piece of luck, the piece of grace, the piece of healing for the Leo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in this Twin Flame Contract for June 2020, or Timeless, concerning this mistake. That the problem is there's a mistake, that the remedy involves laughter. Now, my issue with that, right in my gut, and this is probably personal considering it's solar plexus, it just hit me, is that thing of like laughing at each other, right? I don't know that that's about derisive laughter, not the suit of luck, but that there is something here where these two, because it is a Don Juan and a trickster, that they can really make each other laugh. Does that make sense? That there's something here compatible about the humor here, and maybe laughter about how much of a mistake was made, or how much, like, it's something that can be laughed at. Like I said, how do you make a twin flame work if you're genetically related to the person? Like, is this romantic, sexual? The Don Juan is the only thing that points in that direction. And by the way, it's the Don Juan with the High Priestess, which is, very virginal card, very chaste, one unto itself most likely. Definitely, really the only major arcana cards in the deck are on your side, Leo. So with that thing of laughter, with that power of seduction, maybe this is not that for everybody, that sexual romantic thing here. But with that laughter, that you can help each other laugh and maybe look at this in a way that you're not necessarily helping each other heal, but that there's something funny going on here, and funny where you'll sit back and go, oh my God, that's hysterical. Later. Location, time has to go by. So let's ask the angels. These last three cards are all what I would call therapeutic oracle cards. We're going to ask the healing with the angels oracle. The angels themselves. What is the healing angel available to both of you? It doesn't matter who calls on them first or at all. Just somebody call on them. Nice deep breath. My angels, please, what is the healing angel offering its help, offering its healing for this Leo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame Contract involving this Don Juan and this trickster, please, for June 2020. What is the angel offering its help, its healing? New love. Now, I could extrapolate on that for another 3 hours. I'm not going to. But what I will say, picking up on it here, is that with what's going on here with the trickster, and there's a duplicity involved here, you probably have no idea, Don Juan, of what's actually going on here with this twin. So this new love, most likely, because it's twin flame, is giving you the opportunity for new love of self. And I know people are like, but that's what twin flames are for. They're teaching you how to love yourself, how to care for yourself, how to heal yourself. Cannot give you what you need. And this person just can't right now. There's a lot going on there. Like I said, there's a mental thing there. And I feel like based on a mistake, like not that a mistake was made, but a mistake in the thinking of what this actually is. Or in other words, I don't feel like it's just something personal going on with this person independently of the contract. It's where they are in the contract. That they might just be going through so much right now that they're stuck. They're moving into a place of more frozen and trappedness, where the angel of new love is extending hands and wings to both of you, saying, "Come, love yourselves even through this. Let love be your answer. Let's go to the Whispers of Love Oracle, the voices of the higher self here. Nice deep breath. The higher selves of all involved, possibly mine included, please. One card in clarity for the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. In this twin flame contract, the Don Juan being the Leo, the Trickster being the twin, please. What is the Whisper of Love, the message for this twin flame contract, June 2020 or timeless? Forgiveness. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. And it feels like, I'm going to say it with the Don Juan and a Trickster, with duplicity, with that not knowing of the High Priestess, right? That place of just being in the secretness and the mystery of it all, with the surrender. That forgiveness is going to be more likely on this time. And do understand that that power of forgiveness can be seductive, and not in the sexual romantic way necessarily, but that thing of the freedom that it does provide and the healing. But remember, for a lot of people, forgiveness is the real F word because of the version they experienced, and there are many different versions of forgiveness. I suggest look for the most mystical, heart-centered one that actually heals. Spoken like a Course in Miracles teacher and student. Yeah. One more card down, shall we? A Healing Mantra deck card from Matt Contra's Healing Mantra deck. Something that it doesn't matter again, because forgiveness, these three cards, these last three are about both of you, right? It's about the contract itself. It's what you guys want to do with it individually. So if you work this healing mantra, this is to help you heal you. You can't really help heal the other person. That's the nature of a twin flame contract. I keep repeating that because it's important to get that. If this is sounding like the situation that you're in, like, I never want to tell people in private readings whether their relationships are twin flame or soulmate. I think that's a journey you take. But this is a twin flame reading. So if you're really kind of getting it, be like, nah, this is twin flame. Probably not going to get what I want, but going to get what I need on a soul level, right? So what's the healing mantra to help with that? Breathe. Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contracts, please. The perfect healing mantra for the Leo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in this twin flame contract for June 2020 or timeless, involving this Don Juan and this Trickster archetype. What is the perfect healing mantra to help them heal themselves, to help them love themselves, to help them fulfill their role in the divine plan and in this contract, June 2020 or timeless? Processing grief. Processing grief. My losses prove how deeply I loved. Yeah. Who does not have grief left to process, right? Across the board, no one's taught how to deal with grief well. It's something that we all find our own ways through. There's not just one way to process grief, right? And it does feel like the Leo here is really ready to move on to bigger and better. We'll do this in the overview in a few minutes. I'm going to read from the book too. But that this looks like there's a parting of the ways, regardless of the form of this relationship, that this will be grieved. And let me read why. Processing grief. So it's a really good card. It's one of the first cards that I really worked with therapeutically in this deck. Cry your eyes out, but it truly, truly heals. My losses prove how deeply I loved. When grief is processed, you are able to notice the maturity you gained even when losing the people, places, and things that once defined your sense of self. What I'm getting is that both sides, of course, because we're dealing with a Don Juan archetype and a Trickster archetype, that of course there has been a lot of loss of the people, places, and things. That just comes with those archetypes, in my opinion. As you process grief, you are able to celebrate how deeply you committed to love instead of holding a grudge towards those who left or couldn't love you back. Once grief is fully processed, it can ignite a deeper commitment to love. You know that your alignment with Source is not a matter of what comes or goes. It is determined by how much of yourself you are willing to share. This mantra is ideal for opening back up to love, rebuilding trust, and addressing heartache. My losses prove how deeply I loved. I love that mantra. It really works if you work it, but this really does say that both of you had losses either way. Like if you're family members, that's another thing, but then you probably dealt with the same similar losses within the tribe, right? The tribal losses of family members, of money, of home, of whatever that is. If not, because I'm feeling there's that familial part of this, but even if it's not that, before the two of you then came together in this contract, in this life, you already had a lot of grief that you are literally teaching each other how to process, probably by not being there for each other in general. Now, the only card, and I'll address this again in a minute, is this card of laughter. If this really is the healing laughter, that's the saving grace, in my opinion, here. Let's have a look at the whole thing. Nice deep breath will do the overview. Magic clap. We have got the Don Juan archetype here, representing the Leo, the shadow attribute, using the power of romantic attraction for private agenda. Keep an eye on your agendas in everything all the time, in my opinion, but for this relationship in general, really, are you using your romantic power in a way that's not great, that you really don't want people to know about, hence keeping it in the shadow? The light attribute spotlights your positive, seductive qualities, and really looking at what's going on for you, past, present, future here, those are seducing people towards things that are actually feeling rather high vibrational, right? You've got this really surrender, reversal, the hangman in the past here, really letting go, letting God, seeing things differently, maybe admitting you were wrong, or at least being willing to see things differently, that brought you to this moment, there it is, of stillness, of peace, of clarity, of quiet, of the high priestess, but tapping into something deeper, yet not knowing the whole picture, right? Knowing that there are things that are being held secretive from you, probably from the trickster, right? Manipulating others through duplicity. We'll get to them in a minute. But to really be in that place, I would say, of spiritual practice, in that place of prayer, in that place of meditation, if available to you, to allow yourself to be seduced by God, which is a thing, and goddess for that matter. Moving you into the Six of Pentacles, really, success and breakthrough as a result of this twin flame relationship, but it's something that you do on your own. And really looking at the trickster here, the shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. The chances are that Don Juan was manipulated by a trickster, and they don't take that well, usually. But then certainly the humorous part of that, looking at that card of laughter here, is, transcending conventions, stuffiness, and predictable behavior, that this might have been a lot of fun at its origins. But then with that Nine of Swords in the past, the Seven of Wands in the present, and that Eight of Swords in the future, we're looking at a lot of conflict here, and mostly mental. The Seven of Wands, they may very well be jumping through the hoops and getting the work done, and if that is about their own well, let's just call it psychological interior balance, that's probably the nicest way to say it, then that Eight of Swords is really pointing to where they come to, where they are hamstrung, right? Where they are blindfolded and bound. Now, what's funny is the Don Juan, the Leo here, has that card of reversal in their path, so they've already kind of surrendered and said, whatever this is going to be, this is going to be. I know I'm not seeing it clearly. Let me see this differently, where it feels like the trickster is going to come to that point where at least they see how stuck between a rock and a hard place they actually are, at least in their belief systems. Truth, what it is that they truly know to be the truth, and what they and what is not the truth but has been presented to be so, hence duplicity. Oh, that was a boatload of words. Looking at what is the problem here, it is a mistake. There is a mistake at play here. I don't want to say that the whole contract is a mistake. That's not possible. It's a sacred contract. It is a soul contract, twin flame variety, but it is based on some kind of mistake here, perhaps a misunderstanding, one that laughter can actually heal, which does give the indication of this new love and forgiveness with processing grief, that if both of you can get that the grief that you're feeling may not have very much to do with each other, or at least you're not going to be able to help each other process that grief so much, that as you do this for yourself, there will be forgiveness and a new sense of love. Like I said, explaining twin flames in the beginning, my father and I, twin flame contract, doesn't mean we did not love and forgive each other, but there were just certain things that we came in to teach each other by not giving each other the kind of love that we wanted. And therein lies a twin flame. So there is an opportunity for new love here, both within the selves, which both of you have to do anyway to become better soulmates, mates of your own soul. But I have to say, my Leo, it looks like you are kind of taking the lead on that one and are going to break through regardless of what's going on with this trickster. A lot of words just came to a halt there, huh? Well, Leo Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, myself included. I mean, I can maybe tune into a little bit about who this is for me, but this might not be me at all, because I'm not with anybody right now, which is kind of nice, and my relationships are few, and not very twin flamey. But nonetheless, may the Leo Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame contracts for June 2020, or timeless, to process this grief, to forgive, to find the new love that's available for themselves. For yes, a mistake was made, but maybe that mistake was made to teach this lesson of forgiveness, and that there is some laughter in here as they break through and find their way. May they be so blessed. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you for watching, my Leos. Again, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment if you like. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of June 2020, or timeless in your all your relationships, but this twin flame in particular. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.